friends, my name is Amy. I'm a psychological wellbeing practitioner in the NHS. If you're new here, I'm sharing how I'm trying to find balance as I navigate going from 1 to 2 children, managing my garden, mental health and moving our family to Sweden. If any of that sounds up your street, please do like, subscribe and share. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you around my gardens. We've got this July garden tour. These carrots were ready to harvest and I'll be showing you a tasty carrot salad recipe I like in the next couple of weeks. I am going to be replacing these with some celeriac plants later in the video. Just if you were here last week, I started that series on matrescence, so becoming a mother. I'm planning to do more of a lifestyle type vlog following my garden journey every other week, and then alternate weeks I'll be continuing that series on navigating the motherhood journey, where I'll be sharing my experience and also some strategies that I'm using for coping during this period that I hope you'll find useful as well. Good morning everyone. This is the first garden tour. It's 9th of July, which is actually my sister's birthday, so I probably need to give her a ring, but just before I do, I just thought I'd give you a quick garden tour of the vegetable beds. So let me just turn you around here. So one thing that's new this year that I didn't have last year is the archways. Just wanted to see if I could make more use of the vertical space, yeah, just I'm going to try growing a few things that like climbing this year, which I didn't last year, so I'll show you what I'm growing that's climbing. I'm just going to quickly grab my veg basket here because I've got some carrots to collect that I picked earlier, but here we have an Oregon sugar pod, which is a type of pea, but the actual pods, you can see one here, so it's pea, but the pods are actually really just sweet and delicious as well. So I'm just going to pick that one because that feels ready. You don't want to leave them on too long, otherwise they do go a little bit fibrous, but they still taste good. I'm just going to see if there's any more that are lurking. Got some that have been bitten at. Interesting. I do have Strolch Dam, which is supposed to help with slugs, but maybe that's not slugs, maybe that's something else. We shall see. Oh, don't know what to do about this parsley. I've pulled it out twice now. You would not believe me because it keeps popping back and bolting. I think I need to get all of the roots out. But yeah, as it turns out, parsley could be considered a weed with how much it comes back. Any more? No, I think, oh, hang on, this one. That's probably big enough. And then over here, they do not look very well. I've got some green beans. So interestingly, I've got 2 varieties that you can very much see the difference between the varieties. I think this one's called Maxidor, but it just did not like the heat wave that we had, and it's kind of died back quite a lot. I need to come through with some pruners and get off all the sun damage bit and see if they'll bounce back. And then the other one is Contender, and that seems to have done really well, so I think next year I'll probably just do Contender, because they seem to be a bit more heat tolerant. So that's on this side, and then on the other side I've got a pea variety called Early Onward, and the pods aren't as nice when they're younger, but the peas inside are amazing, so I'm just going to wait for those to bolt up. But I'm possibly not going to grow them next year because I'm not actually a fan of shelling bees for the peas, which is why I tend to grow varieties that have a sweeter outer case so you can just eat the whole thing, because I do love coming in here and just popping them off, chucking them in my mouth. And then over here we have potatoes, and I grow my potatoes in buckets, so it makes it a lot easier to just harvest them as you need them, and they stay in the buckets until I need them, pretty much. This bed over here, so all of my beds are 4x4 beds. So this one is my Mediterranean bed. So over there I've got my, well, I guess they're for tomato sauce, but they're San Marzano. I grew them last year, they're lovely. This year I seem to be struggling a bit more with blossom end rot. So if you don't know what blossom end rot is, basically what it says on the tin, the end where the blossom is, or where the flower was, starts rotting. I'll see if I can find one for you here. I did see one earlier. Oh yeah, here you go. So, and it will just pop off because actually it's not very good. So that's a shame. I'm going to need to not compost those. We've actually got the bed from the other side here now. So I've got lots of basil, all of that's bolting. I've got some lovely marigolds. These are Black Beauty aubergines. I've got my long red peppers. I can't remember what they're actually called. Torre de Rosso, something like that. They're very nice. These are my chili peppers. They're called Chili Shake. I've got one there that's probably ready to be harvested. Then over here I've got all my cucumbers, and there's one just down here. Isn't that cutie? So I've got a few fruits on there, some around there. So I think some of them are pickling peppers, so I think I might need to pick off some of those in a minute. But oh, here's the pepper that's going to turn into those long red ones. And then just a random lettuce basket. I'm just going to come back around the other side so I can show you these peppers, because they're quite interesting. It's the first year, not that I've grown them, but the first year that they've actually done anything. So last year I tried to grow them and they went very wrong. But there is actually a pepper on here. Now these are colour spectrum, and they come in all sorts of different colours, including, as you can see here, black. So that's the first year that I've ever had a black pepper. But we'll see what they taste like and see if we want to grow them again, if we like them. So yeah, got cucumbers growing up this side. I did on this side put some more peas, but they've stayed ridiculously small, and I'm not really sure why, because these are the same as the Early Onward. They're usually quite vigorous, and they're tiny. Who knows why. This over here is my brassica bed. I'm starting to think it was a bad idea to put all of my brassicas in one bed, but that's a lesson for next year. So in between I have planted some fast growing spinach and some fast growing lettuce, just to kind of make use of the space while we're waiting for the heads to come and form. But yeah, I've taken off some of the leaves. I know you wouldn't believe me because there's quite a lot of bug damage here, but I have already taken off quite a few leaves that had bug damage. I have been wanting to try, actually. I saw this tip where you just get a piece of duct tape and you put it on the backs of, so like here you can see there's a bunch of aphids. Now I'm not going to move those because there's also a ladybug who's probably quite happily snacking on those, and we quite like ladybugs in the garden, so I probably won't take that one out. But yesterday when I was watering, I did spray them off with the jet hose. this is some more potatoes. This is a variety called Rocket, and they're a new potato, so they're actually due for harvest in the next few days. So we'll see. I was going to make some potato salad for a party in August, but I think what I might have to do is harvest them, put them in my fridge to kind of stop them where they're at. Over here we've got our onions, and they've all flopped over in the wind. They seem to be growing still, so I'm kind of hesitant to take them out. Oh, that one's getting quite big actually. Look at that. Yeah, some of them are getting quite big, others are ridiculously stunted, so I'm sure they'll taste great still. Over here, in this little section, I've got 5 in a square foot. These are celery, and then where I've taken the carrots out, I've put in celeriac, which is the same plant as celery, but it's been grown for its root ball, and I absolutely love carrot and celeriac soup. So I planted 6 of those, and they've got a whole square foot to themselves, because then they'll grow like a nice big root ball for me. Over in the corner there, had some volunteer potatoes, so I've absolutely no idea what variety they are, but they were free, so why not? This was also self-seeded. So nasturtiums are technically annuals, but they're basically perennials because of how readily they'll self-seed, which is great. So that's a variety that I planted last year. Just some more of the Rocket. I think that's Rocket. Oh no, they're Charlottes. Ignore me. I've already had the Rockets. I had 2 buckets of the Rockets. So then in this bed, this is my kind of quote-unquote 3 sisters style garden. So I've got various different, this is Golden Delight. These are actually really lovely, and I eat them raw. Did you know you could eat them raw in a salad? Just cut up kind of in coins. This one is a variety called Golden Griller. These ones have had, so I don't know if you knew this, but ants harvest the milk of gnats. I think it's gnats. So they want to like keep the gnats on there and keep them, basically baby them so that they can milk them for food. That's so weird to me. Down here I've actually got, these bits did better than I was expecting them to. So I've got 3. As you do, if you're a gardener, you'll know, start so many off with the possibility that they'll all go wrong, and then the ones that thrive you just don't expect to, and then you feel bad about killing them off, so you plant them all. Oh well. So here, as you can see, I've got some lovely sweet corn, and that one's actually just starting to flower a bit, so we'll see what happens with that. Usually you get kind of 1 or 2 cobs from each. Oh, and there's a little ladybug. Ladybugs seem to like the sweet corn. What I'm really happy about this year actually is the amount of beneficial insects that I've seen in the garden. I think that's probably because I've been planting more like flowers. So I've planted obviously the marigolds, I've planted nasturtiums, and things like that. So over here I've got some melons. These are climbing up, as you can see. So this is a variety called Emir, and it's a type of cantaloupe melon. And then here I've kind of planted some more green beans. Here is a butternut squash. There was another one here, but as you can tell, it did not like the heat, so I probably need to pull that out eventually. And then this, again, self-seeded nasturtium, so haven't had to plant any of those this year really. I've just sort of filled in the gaps at the bottom, so this is what I mean by 3 sisters. It's corn and then green beans I've done, but they'll do the same job as any dried beans. I just can't eat dried beans because of a health condition, so I plant green beans, but they'll do the same thing, which is to fix nitrogen into the soil. So hopefully between the lot of them they'll kind of do that. I'm not quite using the courgettes in the way that they're intended to, which is as ground cover, because I am growing them vertically. Woo! Up they go. And then I just realised I've forgotten to tell you about this side. So I did try and plant pak choi. It got eaten by slugs within a week, I think. And I blame that on these things that I have, which is, so these are some DIY ollas, and I fill them up with water just to get us through heat waves and things. And what I noticed one day was slugs crawling out the hole in the top. Great. So I've got to figure out what to do about that. I was thinking maybe putting some copper tape around the top here, because slugs don't like copper, so then they wouldn't be able to climb out and they would eventually maybe die. We'll see. So I've got some leeks here in this square foot. This is about 9 leeks to a square foot. And then over here on this side, climbing up, oh, genuinely, I thought that this would not work. I really did. But it is. And this is a mini love watermelon. So this is bred for kind of more northerly climates like ours. So it doesn't need quite as much heat, although it's had quite a lot of heat, surprisingly. I wonder if that's why it started to do well. But I just noticed, oh my goodness, it's so tiny. This is a female plant, and it's got a little fruit that's going to become a watermelon on it. Can you see that? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Yeah, because so far it's only been putting out male plants, because obviously the root's not good enough to put out female plants yet, although I guess maybe it is. So yeah, that's my garden. So yeah, I'm hoping it will fill out nicely. I've got my compost bin over here. Well, that's one of them. And then I've got another one that's kind of got lids on, but I need to go through and kind of cut down all the stuff. I'm a bit lazy. I just tend to pull stuff out of the ground and chuck it in as I'm in there, and then I forget to come back and like snip it all up so that it actually decomposes a bit quicker. So yeah, that's the garden. I just realised I haven't actually shown you the other end that's closer to the house, so I'm just going to take you up there quickly, and you can have a little look. So here I have my very, very weedy perennial bed. They are supposed to be raspberries. They're supposed to be a golden raspberry. They've put out lots of runners. They've not put out a lot of flowers. I am wondering though if they are an autumn flowering variety. So you get different varieties of fruit that kind of go all the year. So you can kind of have earlies, ever-bearing, or late or autumn varieties. This here is my red currant bush. Started it last year, didn't get any fruit from it last year, which wasn't expecting. You don't tend to get it on the first year. This is its second year growing, and I got drum roll please, 6 berries off it. I have a feeling that the birds came and took some berries when I wasn't looking, when I didn't realise that it had fruit on it. Over here we've got rhubarb, and I've already made some rhubarb and strawberry jam with that. And then here, it's really taken off this year actually. These are my raspberries. I've got some more fruits that are going to come. I've basically just been picking them off and eating them every time I've come out into the garden. So again, not actually like getting a decent enough harvest to make anything with, but I have very, very much enjoyed it. And then over here, sorry, they look a bit tired actually. I planted ranunculus this year. I planted 40 corms. I got 4 plants from that. So I need to figure out what's going wrong. This is my strawberry patch, as you can tell. Now this is the time of year where I basically let them shoot out runners. I'm not that bothered. I've had my fill of strawberries already. We kind of come out and eat them as they're coming out. But what I do want is I want to fill up this area with strawberries. So I'm basically letting them put out loads of runners, and then I'm aiming them into the bed so that they'll kind of fill out the bed and not random areas around the garden. So yeah, I do need to mow this lawn. Here I have my snapdragon bed. So this used to be a pond, but the pond kept attracting lots of midges and things like that, and it was just really gunky. Like, it didn't have any filtration or anything like that, so it basically just got really gunky. So I just turned it into a flower bed. It's a nice round one. So I had only been getting white snapdragons, which I probably need to actually take them off and plant them, because they're falling over a bit. But now, starting to get some little pink ones, or purpley ones. They're very cute. Up here I have my salad wall. As you can tell, all of the top 2 rows have bolted, but I did have plants up there. It's only the bottom 2 rows of kind of mixed lettuces that have done okay. Another new one for me this year. I'm not actually that happy about it. I bought it this year. It's actually a kiwi berry, so you know, like the really small kiwi fruits. They're very soft on the outside, so you can just eat them whole, which I quite like. But I was very interested in growing kiwi. So this is a self-fertile variety called Isai. So yeah, it's a shame it's not doing as well. It seems to have quite a bit of disease. Not sure why. Over here, this looks crazy. It kind of is. There were 4 plants in here. I think maybe 4 is too many for this size space. Oh well. But I've already got a glut of tomatoes. I've got a few different varieties in here. So these are Golden Nugget, and then I've got some orangey ones. And then I had one cherry cerise, but I think these are also cherry cerise from what I can tell by their markings. I think these are going to be red. So I've got red, yellow and orange. Tom Gold is the other variety. This is a failed experiment. This is my strawberry tower. It didn't work, as you can tell. They're all dead. Oh well. I potted up some of the lettuces into that hanging basket. They seem to have taken off actually. It's quite nice. I think I need to start giving my lettuce a lot more room, because I usually grow it as cut and come again and sort of do it quite thickly, but I think actually you get better leaf sizes if you give them a bit more room. So lesson for next year, I guess. And then last but not least, zinnias! Oh, it took me so long to grow these. They basically didn't want to grow, but I managed to get them into this pot. They were looking very sorry for themselves, and now they just keep putting bloom after bloom after bloom. So I'm very excited about what that's going to look like in probably a week's time. And then the other thing I got was a lollipop rosemary tree. I did also have a lollipop thyme tree. It died very, very quickly, so I need to rethink that one. But yeah, that's my garden.